That's a lot of
It's a
money.
lot of catering. It's a lot of craft and catering services.
So like, how do you find a different way that people can connect? And I don't think it's a coincidence that you see pandemic and this acceptance of remote work. And there's a lot of knocks on remote work where it's hard to create like passionate conversation. I disagree. I think you have to curate an environment that makes people feel comfortable having that conversation online differently than you do in a physical space, but it doesn't mean it's not possible. And you look at Yuga, they're 100% remote team. 100% remote team. They're doing just fine. Just fine. Our team continues to grow. We're remote. We have people in all different countries. It just means that you schedule differently. But the way I think we thought about distance and proximity needing to be relevant to great work isn't the same. And once you get over that, it really does disrupt a lot of models in terms of what you can produce, how you can do it. And it's just about finding the right group of people that can kind of accomplish that.
I couldn't agree more, because one thing that people have told me from when I first put my toes in this space is like, continue to come at things differently, come at things with a different mindset, try to unlearn old habits. Like, so let's say I want to take my PFP here, my beautiful, CloneX, and I want to do a movie with my community. How can I do that movie with Atrium? How do I get involved doing that?
There's a lot of options. Like one, you can reach out and we can have a conversation. We can create a custom quote. But the way that the Atrium website is built is in transparency. You can click buy now on an artist. You'll see exactly what you're going to get. You see the conversation, and you can see examples of their output. Now, as you scroll through, you're going to see that it's not just creating an animation. And when you think about Atrium as a whole, we're here to support whatever part of the creation process you're in. So maybe you're looking for concept art to start identifying what is this world and character that I want to create. You get some examples, you do them, you're like, wow, I really like this character. I want to develop them more. So maybe you hire a writer. The writer builds out maybe 10 pages of an official Hollywood-esque script. You have official world creation at that point. You have threads that weave into different like actual plot points with a purpose that goes beyond maybe say 1 or 2 animations. And then you have a choice. You're like, I have character sketches, I have a plot. Do I want to go to animation? Maybe I just want to commission some other art. Like, it's all different options. Now, the other thing too is you look at what Nouns is doing. Nouns isn't just one person, it's a group of people, the DAO, that came together to do something different. I think what's unique about Nouns is that, one, it's CC0, so licensing and all of those other things that can kind of make creating a film messy, they don't apply. It's CC0, right? Now we're doing a lot of things in conjunction with the community so they have input. They're in the Discord. They're seeing all the things go on as we develop the film. But that whole CC0 aspect is a huge development. That doesn't mean that, let's say ApeCoin, there's a proposal from Machi right now where they bought a whole bunch of assets. What happens if they wanted to go through and build IP with those assets? Well, at that point, you come in, a DAO owns them, you set it up, we create things. I think the opportunity that we're seeing now, though, is while it's accessible for an individual, there are some grander opportunities that are available. And whether that's a indie studio that has a great idea that has struggled to get what they thought was the appropriate amount of funding, now having an opportunity. Maybe it's a DAO that wants to get into the bidding business on scripts and being able to actually produce something. And until Noun's movie, they didn't see an avenue for them to be able to get in there. So while we've seen some really good examples of individuals taking charge of their own IP, I think the people that are real legacy IP builders right now are the ones that build some of these longer form content. So when we look back at this time and people reflect on, hey, what really happened during like that whole NFT thing? What content do they watch? And the content that people watch for decades to come is what everyone now has the opportunity to create. And I think personally that's a really inspiring time to kind of be around and have this opportunity, because people are looking how to cement themselves as relevant in this attention economy now and for the future. And I could only imagine, like, as I look at what Nouns has created, not just with Nouns movie, but they've done short film festivals, they've done other Nouns shorts, and the amount of content that they have already is vast. Like, if you wanted an entertainment platform, Nouns is set up to do very well already with what they have, and they're continuing to do so. The next few people that really invest in creating some of this original content, whether it's an individual or a DAO or a group, whatever it is, I think there's this really unique moment in time, and I hope that Atrium is the one that helps you bring that to fruition, because that's part of what we're positioned to do. Is there are some great ideas that are waiting to become a reality, and we're set up to help each one of them come to fruition. And I think as we keep hitting these milestones with Nouns movie, as we keep showing things like Neon Garden, the Izuki anime, I love that thing, it's incredible. Um, it it's going to be more and more apparent, and I think more people are going to feel confident to say this is a good investment. This is a good thing. I want it for me. Like, I want to say I created this during that time, and that's kind of how I look at it. Like, I think that is a really unique opportunity. Do you have to be a group of people? No, you don't. You don't. It can absolutely be a single individual. And I see you put up episode 2 right there. That's one guy, right? Like, he's partnered with us, but like Jeff said earlier, like, don't create alone. That's hard. Like, part of creating with Atrium is you do have that support system, because creating can be hard. And if you have people supportive that allow you to kind of go in there and do that, you're gonna get a really good product out in the end.
Yo, yeah, like, oh my gosh, as you're saying all this, the young creator in me when I was young, I'm like, I can do all that myself. I can write my own lore. I can have my own shop. I can do all of it. But you know what? You really do need a team, and you need help. You know what I'm saying? Like with Jay and I, we use whatever we can, Chat GPT, whatever we can. I mean, right now I may have to look for a third person just to help us do stuff in the back end, because there's a lot of moving parts on there. You know what I mean? There's a lot that goes into a television show. With this, I need to remind everybody, it's our halfway mark of the show. You know what I mean? This is where I tell you about the sponsor of the show, Stapleverse. If you missed it, Jeff was just here. It's recorded. You can go back and listen to it. We've been up in here listening to Anaroth cook about Atrium NFT. But in the meantime, take your Sapiens and go mint those white teas, because guess what? Oh my gosh, I'm calling her old name. I'm sorry. JPEG J minted 420. Hell fucking yeah. 420 white tea is in the collection. Let's fucking rock. She's going to probably get some art up on it, because she has had her art featured on the White House lawn. And yo, I heard that was the party to be this past couple days. So it's been wild over there. So I can't wait for that. So if you want to request up, hit that request bottom, hit it, come up here, button, whatever, throw some flowers, ask Anaroth some questions. I've got 1,000 questions, but y'all can tell Anaroth's a little long-winded, so I may not get to them all, but that's fine, because that means that's a great guest, and he's using this platform to his full utility. And with that, I have somebody coming up here. Oh, POV, who's a brand new clone today. Congrats, POV. You looking fly.
Yo, hey, Boo, man. Hey, I'm doing a few things, bro, but I had to hop up and say what's good to you, voice to voice as my clone, because I am now clone POV. Bruh, feels good, man.
Yo, I just got a fucking crazy shiver down the back of my spine, y'all. This community is on one. I've watched POV do so much along the way. And POV, I'm glad you're here, because I could see you being one of these creators and one of these artists in Atrium. No, I'm not shilling it to you. I just feel like it could be something that you could utilize, because before you came up in here, we were watching the trailer to the Nouns DAO, and it literally doesn't look exactly, but it's familiar to the new Turtles movie, the Spider-Verse. I mean, it's going that direction. Don't y'all remember when Toy Story 1 came out? It wasn't called 1 at the time. And now there's like 5 of them, right? POV, do you got a question for our guest today?
Not per se specific question. I'm sitting back, listening, learning, trying to gather as much information as I can as quickly as possible. Just wanted to show you some love. I had to say something, bro, because y'all have known me for a long time, so I'm hopping around today.
I appreciate that. And before you go, you have helped me go into my next question, POV. When Anaroth and I first talked, I said, yo, I'm loving the Zuki, the eye patch, right? I got the eye patch. We're feeling it. And Anaroth, I looked in your wallet. We saw how much we spent on our PFPs, right? And we bonded on that, right? It's funny because we talked about earlier in the show about the white tee having lost 100K. Shout out Ryan Smith making that fucking awesome shirt. So we bonded on that, right, Anaroth? And we've kind of like parked our planes, right? Like you are your Azuki, correct? Can you talk to about that? Just like POV now is his clone. You were always a clone, baby, but now you really are. Like, Anaroth, talk to me about that because that was such a dope conversation we were having.
I think for me, like, it's just about finding whatever you actually connect with. And it's not necessarily like what you see on social media or whatever other people think it is. It's whatever it means to you. And I browsed the Azuki collection like forever, and I saw this specific one, like this one, like I want that one, and it was too much. I'm like, nope, can't do it. And then it disappeared. It was probably one of those big blur farming sweep things. And then it appeared again, and it was on the floor, and I'm like, oh, like that. Like, I'm not letting it go again. And I got it, like mine. And it felt like because it showed up again, because it was there, I'm like, all right, I'm in. Now, as far as the eye patch, I can relate to it just because, like, in my right eye, I'm like basically blind. It's terrible. Like, if I close my left eye, the world becomes blurry. So I'm like, it works. Like, I'll take an eye patch. I can relate to that life. But there's something that I think a lot of people relate to Azuki is you can immediately form a character in your mind about it. And while I haven't officially done anything just yet with it, do I know if I am? Probably, yes. Eventually, who knows? But it feels like at this point, like whatever, like home, that feels really cheesy. Like whatever home is, like that's just kind of what I relate to at that point. And at that point, it's also why you don't see me with another PFP. And it's not against other PFPs. I have other things, like whatever. But this is the one that I choose. And it's my LinkedIn profile picture, it's my Threads profile picture, it's my ID contact card on when I text my friends and family. Like this is just whatever this part of my life is, it's Anaroth. Like that's like this is who it is. And I'm okay with that. Like that's cool.
I love it. We were at a barbecue the other day, and I'm like, I have my clone as my background. I'm like, this is my digital identity. I'm like shoving the phone in their face. They're like, cool. They don't really understand it. But when you put the filter on, which I can't wait to see your filter POV. Like, let me know if you need help with that, fam. You already know. When you put the filter on, they understand it because most people have been onboarded through that Trojan horse of filters a long time ago through Snapchat. You recently got to fly out and hang out with some Azukis IRL. Can you talk to us a little bit about the event and how was your hanging? I love events. That's why I got to know.
So I got to say, like, I felt old, like straight up. Like that's like, I've never felt my age more in my life than in Vegas weekend. I swear. Part of it, like I'm an East Coast guy. So like I went out there ahead of time. I was in Seattle for a bit knowing like, there's no way the event starts at like 10 PM. I'm like, that's 1 a.m. my time. I'm like, whew, okay, all right, like I gotta prep for this. And in my 20s, no problem, right? Like all these NFT people out there, like I know a lot of them young. I'm old. I'm an old man. I got gray in my beard. Yes. Uh, Vegas is overwhelming. Like it is. I'm an introverted guy. Like I am. I'm an introvert. But part of the reason I wanted to go is because like these are all the people that I talk to online, right? And honestly, when I got in line for the event, uh, I met two like random people that were super cool. Like immediately, just you're like, all right, well, that makes this easier. You hang out with them, and then I saw other random people that I knew when I went inside the event. I'm like, cool. It's like all those worries that you have, any anxiety, like it just kind of goes away in the end. And I think ultimately that's what everyone's trying to find. And it isn't that it's only that I can find that with Azuki. Uh, like I think everyone's just looking for those people that they feel comfortable connecting with, whether it's online and IRL. Like that's what you're looking for. And it's not like it's one or the other either. Like there were a whole bunch of apes who were at the Azuki event. There were a whole bunch of other things who were at the Azuki event. Like everyone's just like, yo, let's go. Let's go have a good time.
I'm so
And
glad.
yes, you can see the little the suited up. I did buy a blazer. I recognized I was woefully underdressed for the Azuki event, so I had to go and buy a blazer and look semi presentable after working from home for 2 years and being an NFT DJ. And I realized that like sweat shorts and NFT merch T-shirts probably aren't like the Hakkasan dress code. So I had to be an adult. But now I have a blazer, so like shout out that I can be an adult.
You guys are looking fresh as hell. Like I love it how your Azuki community, when you show your PFP, somebody will throw some swag on you immediately, like Prez always does with the hoodies, and the CloneX community. And shout out Prez for always streaming us consistently. Fucking love you for that, Prez. Oh my gosh. I love it when we just vibe out and we get degenny. You know what I'm saying? I get a little off topic. We're just like, oh, I love the community, like, because that's what I'm all about. You know what I mean? When you get to meet these people in person, it's really important. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the people that you butt heads with normally, those are the people that you fucking relate to the most. They're like your buddy. It's like Jay loves to tell me the story. By the end of summer camp, man, you guys are picking each other up, spitting on each other's wounds, patching each other up. Tell me, was there any and I appreciate you sharing your story of saying, you are introverted and you took the chance of going out there and you had a good experience. It was a little wild for you. It was a little late for you, but that you actually did it, because I know that'll inspire a lot of other people to do that too. Like I was saying, like a friend of mine was saying, hey, we're going through like the great friendship recession right now, right? A lot of things have changed. Things are mixed up. You know what I mean? Especially when I'm talking to people about what I'm doing. They're like, crypto. Oh my God, get away from me. They're like grabbing their wallet. They're running for the door. And I'm like, no, it's more than that. It's like technology. You know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, like with nuclear energy, right? Nuclear energy is incredible, but it was also made into weapons. So let's use this for good. Can you tell me a highlight of something that happened out there? Did you hit big on 7?
Not at all. Did not hit big on 7. Honestly, the event itself was the highlight. It's why I wanted to go. Like I'd never been to Hakkasan before. I'm probably not going to go to Hakkasan again, right? So like that's my official vision of what must happen all the time, though I know that's not the case in any way, shape, or form. But ultimately, like what I had a lot of fun, and this isn't actually Azuki related, it's ApeCoin related, um, is I got to have a dinner with one of the people that I had been talking to for like months and months and months while I was in Seattle before the event. So like shout out him, he's a homie, and we just got to nerd out and talk about all of the things that we actually get to talk about, right? I think connection for me is like I work from home. I spend a lot of time like by myself. So the conversations I have are important. And being able to actually have the opportunity to connect with some of those people, you say like the highlight, like, yeah, I know there's people that I met in Vegas and in Seattle that I'm going to continue to talk to more so now. I'm like, that's a highlight, right? Like that's the whole point of like going and building relationships.
That is a huge highlight. I always tell people, if you want to do good business with people, well, the people I collab with, I usually like to go, break bread IRL with them. Was this, Jay, if you don't mind pulling up that beautiful animation that they're currently working on over at Atrium NFT, was this was in the works before the Las Vegas event? This new animation that you guys are working on?
So Neon Garden, the one that's playing right now, yeah, Neon Garden, that's part 2. So part 1 was, I think, in March of this year, March. This is part 2, which introduces Valentine, which is the character you see on the screen there, the red one. And then Steve G, who's the one kind of creating this process, he's introducing, he just announced part 3 that will probably come out in the next month and a half, 2 months. And it's the first time, he announced on Twitter the other day, that it's a character that he does not own. So he's bringing in somebody else into this Neon Garden universe for the first time as a separate IP. And it's good. Like, I mean,
It's really good.
I'm biased. Like, let me just be perfectly clear. Like, yes, I understand that we're making it, and I'm up here. I'm like, yeah, it's good, but it's good. Like, I will absolutely show this as one of the examples to my friends. I'm like, hey, look at this. I won't even tell them it's NFT related. I'm like, nope. I'm like, what do you think? Oh, that's dope. I'm like, fantastic. It's something, and I see like how Steve feels after he created it, and he loves it. Like, he's inspired to do more, and the opportunity to give other people that feeling, to have that happen, yes, please. Like, yes, let's make that happen.
No, this is incredible. I hope you could is Steve easy to reach? Because I would love to highlight him and all this too. You know what I'm saying? Like having like Zen, like how we had Zen on before. Because that is gnarly. I love the gore. I mean, that's kind of like what I look for in anime. Because I'm like looking for like drawings, like really detailed drawings. I always like Atomic Book. I mean, I can't talk today. I'm all spun up today. Anyway, I have another question for you. Please hit that request button if you want to come up and ask questions. Y'all know I got them. But is there anybody down there I should put on the spot, Anroth? Just hit them with a request to speak. Anybody in your crew, your circle? I should just force them up here on the stage because I want to get
Dude,
to know
I would never
more about your community.
I would never voluntold someone like that. Why would you do someone dirty? Why would you do something dirty like that?
Oh my gosh, I do
That's
it.
how
I
I
hit
have a great
requests and they
network,
come
friend.
up.
Bro
That's how
just
I
said
have
he
a
was an
great network.
introvert.
Sometimes people come right up. You know what's funny? I think you're an incredible speaker. You've done 3 YouTubes for Atrium NFT. I hope that you do more because I was really vibing it. Some of the questions, oh my gosh, one person I think answered like 12 minutes. Anyway, when I was bringing up the insane animation about Azuki, I was also looking around and I saw that you got a custom Gutter Cat Nike Dunks High in the mail. No? Yes?
I did. I don't have that Gutter Cat anymore, but I do have the shoes. It was one of those things. I think it was. I mean, NFT time. I think that's probably like 5 years ago. If you think about how fast time goes. But the shoes are definitely just like an official collectible at this point. They hang out in my closet. They're on the shelf. They're chilling. I didn't get them commissioned when I got the cat. That was part of the deal, which 100% sold me on it because all I have as shoes is ones. Like, that's it. Like, that's all I have. Whenever I moved from New York back to Florida, one of the biggest benefits, less taxes. And the first thing I did was use some of that disposable income and start buying shoes. So at this point, I have more shoes than I need. More shoes than I need.
So are you gonna mint the current Pumas that are out there and get all like a Doppler radar system on your feet?
The benefit of my ones only nature is it makes it really easy for me to decide on which shoes I want to buy and which shoes I do not. So if it's basically like an SB Dunk High, yes. If it's a Dunk High, yes. If it's a Jordan 1, yes. If it's an SB Low, most likely yes, but let's be honest, there's a 0% chance I'm actually going to hit that on the sneakers app. So it's just if I want to buy it on aftermarket or not, because it's just going to be that you didn't get selected that you always get. Every time.
So you like to flex a little because I see you got some cause figures too you like to collect, correct?
That was the same time. So when I moved to Florida and I was working at Apple, I feel like I discovered StockX like in that moment. And if anyone's had like whatever, like I don't think like StockX, Alias, Goat, like I don't know if they're the same as what they were, Network, whatever it is, right? But when you discover it for the first time and you're like, oh shit, I can find these things that I always missed out on that maybe now I can get for the first time, you just kind of start buying stuff. And then as you figure out what you like, you get to start kind of collecting it later. So like the first cause things that I got, like the BFF, I got on StockX, but then like I'm paying attention and like the cause Japan which is one of my favorite ones, like the guy lying down. Like I was just awake at midnight waiting for it to drop so I could get it. But I think that's also why a lot of us are here, right? Like collectible culture is you find the things that you like. And then I think what's different is it's hard for me to just figure out like who all the cause people are, right? Like that's not like it's like it doesn't really work like that. Like Web3 as a whole, this collectible culture, like there's lots of overlap that allows us just to start from a point of, hey, I know we're into the same stuff, so let's figure out if there's anything else. Versus what the fuck are we supposed to talk about before I stop feeling awkward? Like that's the biggest difference in what like collectibles and sneakers and culture are. The same thing with shoes, right? Like I will walk down and like if I see people and I have to make an introduction, I'm gonna look at their feet. And whoever's wearing ones, I'm walking up to them because I know it's gonna be an easy intro conversation. 100%.
Checks over stripes all day, every day. I love that. Hey, I want to throw the question. Jeff Stable, thank you for giving me that question earlier. I want to throw the question Jeff Stable threw at me to you about what you think of like, when threads will get, spaces like this. Where are we going from here? You know what I'm saying? What is your opinion on it? Have you created a thread account yet? And I need to go follow you now.
Yeah, I didn't. I was on it last night. I got whatever like the note. I pre-downloaded it, and then my phone said like, "Hey," and then that's where I was. Um, I feel like while it made sense to launch it right now, obviously the whole rate limit thing, like it's a perfect transition. I also wonder like if the social audio component is, let's say, soon, being able to launch and then immediately have your platform inundated with the people that can't multitask both things at once, like to really pull your user over and force them to stay on there versus tweeting and threading at the same time both places. Like that would be interesting to me. Like I would like to kind of see where that happens. It's the biggest thing that I feel like is missing, right? Like I want to have this conversation over there and feel and see if it's different. I think the other thing, just for me personally, is like it's a brand new platform. So whether it's missing something or not, like how are you curating what you want it to be for you? Like you already have the ability to talk to all of your Twitter people here on Twitter. Like who are you not interacting with or who isn't there necessarily that you do have an opportunity that like maybe never is on your feed right now? Because a lot of the random conversations that I have are what spur some of the bigger ideas, like your follower count or who you are or what it is means very little in terms of do you want to take an idea to action? Like those are completely unrelated things, like how many people follow you and your desire to produce an outcome. And I think the interesting thing about a new platform is there's an opportunity to find and recognize behavior that you don't like from before and then seek out what you do while it's in these early and nascent stages. So am I on there? Yes. Do I think it's different or better? Like, yeah, I don't know. Uh, but I would like to see it start providing me something different than what Twitter does. Because I have Twitter. Everyone's here on Twitter. And like, you can say you're going to move or not, whatever. I also think Twitter has this political affiliation, whether you say that's good or bad. Like, it's a big part of what's made Twitter what it is in like political and newsworthy discourse. And that isn't what I feel necessarily at all when I go over on Threads. Like, it's very much just like my For You feed over and over and over, and not like my following feed, which is curated, so to speak, from what I would actually want. But I don't see it being successful if they don't at least offer social audio, which maybe it's just us in our little echo chamber that we want it. But I feel like it makes sense to bring it over there. And if you're not, like, how do you retain anything? It just, then it feels like a fail.
Let's just keep trying it and break it like we break it on here. And sometimes we get rugged and sometimes it comes back on and we just keep going. And that's why we have all these different tentacles, because sometimes they get chopped off. I freaking missed a question that I asked all my guests. What is it about this space that maybe you would want to change, keep the same, update, see in the future? Is there anything like that comes to your mind that is just like pinging you in the back of the neck?
I feel like I wish more, like what I said earlier, I wish more people saw the opportunities that were here. Right, like it's the same thing with the internet. Like, oh, there's a whole bunch. Like, there's the dark web, all this crazy stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I know there's a ton of stuff that's bad on the internet, but there's also like my life is fundamentally different because of it. And when I think about the opportunities that we're actually creating for people here, and the amount of opportunity for others, specifically, like I think about all the people that I worked with at Apple, like Apple Retail, whatever, and there's all those other jobs that are just like Apple, are doing the same thing, who I work with really intelligent people that have zero interest or awareness about crypto. And what would happen if they were able to develop an interest in where we find a lot of passion and excitement here? And I think that's like the broader theme of mass adoption. Like, it's not about a single unique thing. It's about more people seeing relevance and applicability and utility, air quotes, and what we can offer. Now, for me, like, I think film is like a public good. We all like going to the movies. We all like entertainment. We all like coming home from work and finding something that we relate to. The problem is those relatable movies cost a lot of money. And we now have an ability with Atrium where, let's say you had $40 million. And I know that sounds like a lot of money, but Tangled costs like $270 million, right? So $40 million and you get, let's say, 3 movies over 6 years. Think about the amount of content your project, your company, your newly produced production studio would be able to just bank. And if one of those 3 movies was relatively successful, how much larger your margin would be, right? And it's not just providing opportunities for people to make money. It's about providing the opportunities for all of those people who are in a studio that haven't had their original idea that they've been cooking up forever, that is very worthy to be watched by millions of people. And I want to see more of that content. So that's the part where I feel like we are right now, is how do we have more people recognize the tangible good that comes from funding content, from funding public goods, from funding entertainment, because it's what so much of what we all love and desire is about. And we have an opportunity to participate and create that. And I wish we did more of that. And I wish I understood how to articulate that better a year ago, because we could have so much content from all of this IP in such a wider scale than we do right now. But I think it was really hard for a lot of people to see the forest through the trees. And now we're just getting there, and we could be so much farther ahead.
I really couldn't agree more. And that is exactly why we have guests like you on this show. Clip that, because everything you just said, God, there's so many people. I'm serious. I wish I did more art retweeting and liking and like everything on the timeline. You guys out there, all of you are just so incredible, doing just massive amounts of work every single day. I want you to know that, like, for real. Some of you, when you don't do your spaces or you don't post, like, I'm like looking for it. I'm hungry for it. I'm like, where are you? I'm like, did they go on vacation, or is this a habit now? You know, let's get to something fun here. Okay. What do you think, in your opinion, media wise, film, TV, whatever, character development? One show, one movie where you were like, God, the character development in this was so good. I loved it.
Geez, you're gonna put me on the spot right now.
You can pick anything, you know. I wanted to, you know, because you're a writer and you're just so well articulated, Anna Roth, you know. And a lot of people they'll answer Breaking Bad with this question when I ask them, you know. Oh, I think Anna Roth's gonna hit me with a different one than that.
So, like, IP wise, like character development, The Sandman from Neil Gaiman, whatever you want to pronounce his last name. That series, like The Dreamers, it's dark, it's messed up. If you've never read it, like, it's weird. But he's even gone on and talked about like how to develop a world, like what it means to him in creating all this other stuff. Like, he would be an inspiration on like how you create that. But this idea of someone who has a lot of possibility and is kind of grappling with how they can use it, I find very interesting, which is Sandman. Great series. And you can watch it on Netflix, yes, but you should read the comic books. I know that's cliche. I know. But I feel the same way with like Ready Player One, because the book and the movie are like entirely different things. Like entirely different. So different.
I'm glad I pushed that. I haven't seen it. I haven't watched that. I saw Jack down there thumbing up, man. You definitely found your vibe and tribe in here. If people are going wild when you're talking about the Sandman. The only Sandman that hits me is when my eyes hit my lids hit the bottom of my eyes. God, I'm tongue tied today and I'm so dry. I literally, does anybody do this? Like brush their teeth before they go on Spaces? I do that. I brush my teeth
Every
before I
time.
come in here. You do it? Fuck yeah. It's like having a real conversation. I'm like breathing into the computer right here, and I want you to have good breath. I want to have good breath. We're getting to that time, you know what I'm saying? Please, if you want to request up, do it now. Again, like this is your time to do it. I'll hit you on the stage. It's all good. POV, thank you for coming in here. Can't wait to see what he does with all those clone files. And I want to give you second to last word, Anaroth, before we close this down.
I just want to say thank you for having me on. I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to talk about Noun's movie. That's like the one. I will heartlessly show that. Like, I'm just gonna be honest. Like, you should go to Noun's.movie. It's amazing. The people that worked on it. I want to shout out our music guy, Jakob Pietras. You can probably find his behind the scenes video on Atrium as well. He's incredible. Like, incredible. He's also one of the conversations on the YouTube page. But finding more people like him, like HKJ, like Zendout, that have these opportunities is what it's all about. So please go follow at Nouns Movie, follow Atrium, go to Nouns.movie, watch that, share it with all the people that aren't NFT people. Be like, yo, look at this great animated film. It doesn't matter, it's NFT stuff. Share it, please, because it's really exciting. And the next amount, so you're hooked. You're like, oh, I want more. The next amount is like 9 to 10 more minutes, right? There's like more than double what you get from that preview. And what that means is you finally get to like really start understanding the characters and the depth of the world. And we got some other things kind of cooking up that I think people are going to enjoy around what it means to participate in creating this film. So stay tuned for more, but check it out. You're not going to be disappointed. And thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Anaroth. Man, I hope everybody gives Anaroth a follow and jump in those DMs because I think he can really help you. If anything, just have a conversation with somebody else. Like, it's important. Get off that damn timeline, get in the DMs, get in them video chats. He's got a Calendly. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but you can, schedule up a call with him, and it's always vibes, man. Thank you so much for coming on here. And let me do my end. You already know. Let me remind everyone here that today's sponsor is Stapleverse. Shout out Jeff Staple for tuning in earlier and dropping us with his incredible wisdom, asking me a question. That was fun. If you're holding a Sapiens, now's the time to go mint your magic white tea or go pick up a Sapiens to go mint your magic white tea. Ooh, in my white tea. In my white tea. In my white tea. Y'all know that song. We got it, right? So go grab it. Get the tea. I'm fucking pumped. We secured number 420 here on the show. It all starts with a blank tee. I'm wearing a Staple Pigeon shirt today. You already know what it is. I'm wearing a Bobu bucket hat today. I'm keeping it real. I got my CloneX filter on. Yo, we're merging the worlds here. Shout out to my audience. Stapleverse, Prez, Shadow, Hefner, Jack. It's lit. Nero Hub, Skidley. It's Skidley. God, he is so dedicated. He's been here 38 episodes in a row. We love you for that. Naper, Atrium, Abstract, Vincent's, Yakizugi, JR Token. Oh, you already know I love you, bro. We gotta talk soon. Take action 24/7. 9-digit Dan Wang, the Don J, Christian Rankila. Oh my gosh, I need to do better. 10 times Quest, baby. Oh, and Nicholas, you already know. Checks over stripes. I see those shoes. And with that, we're going to be back next week. Different location, same day, same time. I can't wait to share these updates. Ooh, the photos are going to be wild. Get ready. And with that, we out. Have a great weekend. We love you. Go follow our guests. Go follow Stapleverse. Go follow each other. Jump in those DMs. We bye. We gone.